Ah, you scream, I scream, we all scream for the Icicle Works there. Hollow Horse. So, talking with Steve Gadd and how his life intersected with that of the Icicle Works after 2 o'clock, among other rock stories that Steve can share with you. On BBC Radio Nottingham, it's 7 minutes past 2. I'm Alan Clifford, and in the studio now is Steve Gadd, or Gaddy, as people know you.
Gaddy. Indeed, sir.
I have to say, if anybody ever says the Icicle Works to me, I feel an instant bond with them. So you and I hit it off across the text machine. Just tell me, first of all, how that came about. As a teenage lad, were you into your music and stuff?
Well, it was, and thank you first for having me on. It's very nice to be here, and it's given me a present, folks, too, and I'm knocked out by this gift it's given me. Thank you very much, Alan. As a kid, I grew up in a house that was full of music. My mum, Marge, was a piano player. She was a pianist. She'd got diplomas from the Royal College of Music, Victoria College. Dad was teddy boy, rock and rolly type, you know. And I sort of grew up with Lipstick on Your Collar and Patsy Cline stuff and all this, you know, big radiogram that you switched on 10 to 6 for 6 o'clock show, you know. And it was just always in the house, knitting needles on cushions and all that, you know.
Oh, you did that?
Jumpers for goalposts. Anyway, yeah, and so when I was 10, it was a rally chopper or a drum kit. Turned out I had both because my grandma bought me a bike and my mum bought me drum set. Wow. Hoshino, Japanese kit it was, Hoshino. So
that's a brave move by a parent to buy their son a drum kit, because the ensuing racket.
Yeah.
So how did you take to it straight away? Were you quite good?
Yeah. Well, I'm not straight away quite good, but I mean I've got a tendency to stick at something. Once I'm in there, I'm in, you know.
Did you take lessons?
No.
All right.
No,
so self-taught on the drums.
Never had a lesson in music ever. Not since school.
Ah.
So anyway, we made an almighty row for a bit, and I think she was quite relieved when about a year after that I wanted a guitar as well. So a couple of local guys, Alan Piddock and Roger Andrews, furnished me with a guitar that they'd made themselves, a bit like Brian May, which was all right. And that's where. And while the kids were playing football in the summer, when they, you know, all out on the fields, I'd be sat indoors with the curtain closed, sore fingers, strumming away.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a life in music, and a love of music was born. And what did you form a band? Did you join a band? Why, this is all in the Mansfield area, I take it.
Yeah, it was, yeah. And well, when I knew that to stay around here weren't going to be where it was at, so to speak. I mean, I had enough sense to think, move to London. I went down to London. Camden for a couple of years. I moved up to Norwich. I lived in Great Yarmouth as well for quite a while.
Hang on, Norwich was never a centre of rock and roll, was
You're
it?
joking.
Was it?
I'll tell you something about Norwich.
Yeah?
I was indoors watching a thing called The Fast Show.
Yeah.
Right, can you remember The Fast Show,
yes.
the comedy show?
Yeah.
And when the credits came up, it said on the screen, written by Charlie Higson. And I said to my girlfriend at the time, that's the second time in my life I've seen the surname Higson. The only other time I've seen it was the Higsons, the band from Norwich, and Charlie Higson was in that band. I went and looked at his own, it's saying Charlie Higson.
It is, isn't it? You're
only
right.
the same Charlie Higson. Yeah.
Actually, to be fair, for those who know, I think there is quite a bit of musical pedigree coming out of Norwich. There was an independent record
Farmers
label.
Boys.
Farmers Boys came out there.
Yeah.
There was Bax Records.
There was Bax, yeah. There was. Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah.
It's because there was not much else to do in that.
The Farmers Boys, the Crabs, the Fire Engines. My own band over there was called Against This Wall. I've still got the press cuttings from the Farmers Boys and things.
Did you ever support the Farmers
Yes,
Boys?
of course, yes, at a place called the Big Apple, a club just over the Colston Bridge, Yarmouth Colston Bridge. Yeah, the Big Apple, that was one of the first decent supports I had, actually.
What's it like? This is one of the things I wanted to talk to you about being a support band, because, on the one hand, you get to play in front of a crowd that you might have not otherwise brought, but on the other hand, they're not there to see you. How do you approach that?
Well, we've been lucky with that one, really. You approach that by just being as good as you possibly can. That's all. Just rehearse, and make your show, because you've only got like half an hour. And like as not, mostly, you'll not even get a sound check. You'll get 1, 2, are we on? Bang, bang, snare drum, bass drum, that's it, lads, thank you. Then main band will come on and sound check their entire set, And
I've heard, I don't know if it's true, that sometimes the main band have a word with the sound engineer and say, make sure you don't make them sound better than us.
We've had that, yeah, but it's it's not so much the quality. People have got more sense than to just go there and they can pick up on the feel. You know what I mean? The feel of the band.
Yeah.
They can tell what's happening up there. You know what I mean? Without having a fantastic sound and that. You know, I don't think it goes on too much, but I'm sure it has done. You know.
Steve Gadd is here at BBC Radio Nottingham, still making music. We'll find out what you're up to these days, and the injuries you've sustained. You have some current injuries. We might talk about other injuries you've sustained in the world of music in a little while, and also being a support group, working with Echo and the Bunnymen, and that's the love affair, everlasting love. Steve Gadd is here. I mean, so many things that I want to talk to you about. I think the most appealing one is injuries sustained in the world of performing music. You're suffering a bit just at the moment, you tell me.
Well, yeah. Well, people have a tendency to drop various drinks around my feet while I'm playing. They keep coming up wanting to get a bit too close with drinks. Invariably, they fall on the floor. I slipped on this and twisted my arm against a table. It went. Palm of my hand went back of me. Behind the back of my head, sort of thing, you know.
When was this, just a week ago?
Yeah, just over, yeah. And I got a front tooth snapped off as well.
So you've
the bargain.
Strained or dislocated your shoulder and knocked
the tooth
out?
Got smacked in the mouth with a microphone. Yeah.
That's just is that just the last in a long line of injuries?
Yeah.
Well, back over the years to doing stuff to yourself?
Oh my God! I weakened the tooth on a lollipop a couple of weeks before that. At Mansfield Leisure Centre, they've got part of the safety curtain thing. They've got big ropes that it's gone now. Bless it.
The big black square building.
The big where the supermarket is now. Is it? There are other supermarkets available, but that's Tesco's thing. Anyway. You know, Laurel and Hardy style. Sat there with a broken leg in a big heap. Yeah. Sat in a big heap with a broken leg, and then my amps followed me down, like, you know, still, because I used to tie my amp, my backline amp. I'd tie the cable to the handle on the amp, so you can't pull the thing out the socket.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, amplifier and all that, come down with me.
While you were doing a gig?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Trouble is, next time the crowd came to you, they were disappointed you didn't do it again. They thought it was part of your act.
Yeah, it's difficult. I mean, there's a saying that, they say break a leg. Yeah. I mean, you know, sometimes you really have to. But it's difficult not to pretend that's not happened when you actually have broken your leg. Yeah.
So, Brushes with Stardom, how close did you get with the various bands? It's Immense was the band that you...
Let's Immense, yeah.
Let's Immense.
Yeah. Well, like I say, I'd had with Echo and the Bunnymen since 1979, since they were putting tank netting over the amps and wearing army jumpers.
Right.
And they got car headlights with green, some kind of sweet paper, wrapper paper on it, you know, making them look green, fog and everything. They were an amazing live band. Echo and the Bunnymen.
Wasn't Echo the tape machine?
Yeah.
Yeah. With the backing.
With drum machine.
Drum machine.
Yeah,
right, okay.
It was a drum machine.
Yeah. So you toured and supported them?
And I went everywhere with them. I'd fetched them magazines, and in fact, there was in
magazines.
Well, there was a magazine called The Face that was. I think it's a style book now, but before then, in like 79, 80, it used to be like quite a. Well, they were like Channel 4 when they first started. They weren't afraid to go places.
Yeah.
And I noticed there was an article about the Crucial 3 in there. Of course, I've gone and bought a couple of copies. I went running and showing Mike. And
that's Ian McCulloch out of Echo and the Bunnymen, known to Mac as his
all sat in the togas. We're in the toga party with the sandals on.
We'll come into the toga party in a minute. So you introduced them to the Face magazine?
Yeah, well, at least to their... Yeah, I don't think they knew what the Face was, but they got the Crucial 3 article in there. Because the Crucial 3 was Ian McCulloch, Julian Cope, and Pete Wiley out of War. Mm-hmm. People might remember Story of the Blues, Pete Wiley. Julian Cope's band, Teardrop Explodes, had Reward and Treason in the Top of the Pops. In fact, Mike and Julian had a competition to see who could fall over on Top of the Pops first.
I would guess. I put my money on Julian, but...
Yeah, quite right. He's not afraid.
No.
When I saw him on Top of the Pops about 10 years ago doing that Let's Walk or whatever it was, he got a Mohican on and like a brown sackcloth dress. I thought, Julian, no, please, no.
Julian Cope.
What a great guy, though. What a great guy.
It's certainly a creative and interesting mind he has. So, yeah, Ian McCulloch's toga party. Were these regular occurrences?
It was his birthday and they wanted a Roman toga party.
Right. And you were there?
Oh yeah, that was at West Rumton Pavilion. Actually, you know, I emailed Mac about 3 or 4 years ago now, and it was one of them, you know, when you feel like reminiscing, a 10,000 word, a veritable novel it was. And I said, can you remember when we were at West Rumton Pavilion and there were like 5 people there, and you know, you could have rode a motorbike around in the crowd blindfolded, not hit anybody. And I said, can you remember this, and can you remember the face, and can you remember this and that and all that? You know what he wrote back? Enough said.
That was it.
I know he don't want reminding because he turned into a rock star after that. But I know he don't want him to be reminded. But I expected more than enough said.
What bits of memorabilia do you keep? Do you keep bits and pieces? Have you got stuff from that era? Though,
you know, I never used to keep press cuttings or anything because when I was younger, and if it weren't my mum, there wouldn't be any. She kept everything. I've got all sorts, yeah.
All right.
Demo tapes, especially galore, by the boatload.
Twisting by the Pool, that was Dire Straits on BBC Radio Nottingham. And Steve Gadd is here, been making music. Sort of describe you as being from Mansfield, which is true, but you've travelled the country, really, and lived in various places. Where was the most musical place, do you think, was the most inspiring?
I lived in Peckham for quite a while, Brixton, Camberwell, on Dog Kennel Hill, East Dulwich, and Norwich. I like Norwich, I did.
Interestingly, I think Nottinghamshire has kind of never quite become a Manchester or a Liverpool with its music, although I think over the years you could point to many bands. I mean, Alvin Stardust, of course, Mansfield Lad. Did you work with him?
I did, yes.
Yeah, he was lovely, Alvin, wasn't he, as a guy?
Yes, it was. It was very nice, yes.
Oh, okay. And B-Movie, Mansfield's band B-Movie.
They should have been enormous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ovington and Boffy and all them. I think Boffy played drums at Live Aid for us, as I recall. I'm pretty sure he did.
Did Phil Collins didn't drop in by a jet?
No, he didn't. No, I did have a pair of his trousers though to sell at an auctiony thing that was supposed to raise money for. Because I've had a long association with Spastic Society, Scope it's called now. It was called Spastic Society at first, and they used to ask me to play in the streets all over the shop. And Phil Collins sent a pair of trousers, and I thought these are going to make about 50 grand. I said to the manager of the place, Ian, I said, Ian, you're going to want security here. I'm telling you, these trousers are going to go. It was all in the papers and everything, and half a dozen folks in Max and headscarves turned up, and someone's dog, 52 quid they made, these trousers. And there was a letter from Phil Collins saying, these are definitely my strides. I've worn these on so-and-so video, 52 quid. We felt that daft. We had to dress up as chambermaids to get out the place alive. Dragging folks from all over to come and see his trousers. Yeah.
We are sadly up against time, Steve. I suspect we may have to invite you back. There is a rich mine of experience to go at here, but
we're just started.
Yeah, we haven't we? The story of you and the Icicle Works, which is where it all started, and it gave me the brilliant opportunity of playing the Icicle Works Hollow Horse. I think almost as you came into our building this afternoon, the Icicle Works, you would think, what palace of delight have I walked into here? BBC Radio Nottingham with Icicle Works echoing around the halls. Probably the first and last time they'll be played, has to be said. But but you were booked to be their support.
Just because the equipment broke down, we still went on valiantly to keep the baying crowd from tearing the place apart because they weren't pleased.
When and where was this, first of all?
Retford Porterhouse.
Which was a notable venue, wasn't it?
It was a big place, yeah. They had Duran Duran and all that sort of stuff going on, you know. And don't forget that and B-Movie in the charts, one place behind Duran Duran at the time. I think B-Movie were 13 in the charts and Duran were 12 with Planet Earth at one time. That's how close it was for B-Movie.
Yeah. So there you are, Retford Porterhouse. They say, can you come along and be Icicle Works support?
Yes, and we turned up and spent the day with them. They were lovely. It's the first time I'd seen a refrigerated flight case with Carlin Black Label and chicken salads in, and they said, get what you want to eat. Where's the other lad? There's 3 of you. And they said, yeah, he's in the toilets being ill. He's stage fright. Being ill? I said, please don't make me elaborate while we're looking at chutney. Anyway, but Martin was in the toilets being sick, and we were eating chicken salads because we felt we'd got to, you know what I mean, and drinking Carlin Black Label.
It's a rock and roll lifestyle.
By the time we went on, we were 3 sheets.
And full of chutney.
Well,
you blew them away, I think.
Well, we sat playing we spent all day playing. I mean, they played all day. They were fine with sound checking and sat playing the guitars and talking to Chris. In fact, when I first got there, Chris Sharrock, who finished up playing with Oasis, if you remember, he was their last drummer. He said, mate, there's a scruffy looking bloke in back of your van looking through your gear. He's going to have it away. I'm telling you. I went running out it with my mate who we took with us to help us. I called, we're Oggy. Yeah. I said, Oggy, please put a clean shirt on next time you come with us, mate. Oh my God. I said, you've been mistaken for a tramp. I'll kill him. I said, no.
But why did the Icicle Works not play?
Because the equipment was a bit intermittent. The desk was playing up. So they sent to Leicester, of all places, sent somebody to Leicester for another mixing desk. That came back. That weren't good enough. It had been easy. If they'd have said they wanted a desk, they could have fetched mine from Mansfield, because mine were all right, you know. But anyway, to be quite honest with you, I don't think... Ian McNabb, you were being Mardy that night. You'd had it on you all day, and that's what was the matter. The sound equipment was fine, because we went on, and we finished up getting a good write-up for it.
You did. There's a brilliant newspaper cutting which is on your Facebook page, which tells the whole story. And how were the crowd at that point? I mean, they must have lapped you up, but were they disappointed when they realised there was no...
Yeah, well, what I did, I just went on and did what I'd always do. I still do to this very day, actually, when something's going wrong. I said, look, we're having a few problems, but nothing we can't really get round. It's not like being in the 747 when you have a problem. You can walk out or you can stay, and most people stayed and had a good time.
Steve, we must, for now, leave it.
Okay.
But it's brilliant to meet you. We've had some excellent anecdotes from you. A man who's worked in music in the Mansfield area and around the world, and still doing it now. That's something we must return to, get you in to talk more about the music you do now. Still raising money for good causes.
Yes, absolutely.
Notable figure around the Mansfield music scene. A joy to meet you. We'll meet you again soon.
Thank you, Alan.
As Vera Lynn sang, we'll meet again. You may remember her. It's 29 minutes to 3 now. So look at the news headlines.